So I saw a meme a while ago and it showed a picture of an engine block and it said 30 years old and still playing with blocks, right? So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. In this case, I kind of felt like that. I felt like I still want to play around a little bit. I have this Teksid block, and the Teksid block was off of the 96 to mid '01 Cobras. The Lincoln Mark 8s had them. You know, they're forged in Italy, so they're pretty cool. They're strong. They're known to be able to take 1,000 horsepower pretty easy. And so I had this one, and it had some repair done to it. I'll show you in a second here, but I had it mostly because it was cool. I just wanted to have it, and I thought it was a neat piece of Ford history and something, worth having. It's been sitting for a long time. It's kind of dirty here and stuff, but here's a little bit about the repair work here. It's just where the timing chains go. You can see where there's a bunch of like JB Weld or something in there, and this whole piece had broken off, and I don't know if it was dropped or like in a car accident or something. The timing cover was not damaged, so I don't think so. I think maybe someone dropped it or something. I don't know exactly, but you can see the putty work done, and they've put it back together, and this was off of a 98 Cobra, so I think it was running. And so I kind of zoomed in on some of these pictures. I think that's 97, the year, and it would have the date on there somewhere. So that's period correct. It shows of what it was. But it's just kind of cool to see, to think of what it takes to make an engine block like this. Something that was forged and everything and super strong. And, it was a really neat piece of Ford history. They later went to the WAP blocks, the aluminum Windsor Assembly Plant blocks, like what is in the Mach 1. And those are still strong, but people say that these are stronger. And in the '03-'04 Cobra days, they had iron blocks, which are the same as the 2-valve Mustang GT, and they just made some revisions to them and made them capable to go in the Terminator Cobras for strength, because they didn't have these forged Italy Teksid blocks available to them anymore when they came out with the '03-'04 Cobras. So a little bit of a history lesson there, but I just wanted to put it on the engine stand and clean it up and rotate it and play around with it, shoot some WD-40 in the cylinders, and you'll see I have some of this Marvel Mystery Oil to pour in there and stuff, but just kind of wanted to clean it out a little bit and just see what I had. And I did have a friend who said, hey, I really love the Teksid blocks. I'd love to build one and put it in my Bullet, and if you're ever interested in selling that, then I want to be first on the list. I said, oh, that's fine. I'll give it to you really cheap because it has this repair work done to it, so we'll talk about that in a second. But here it looks like this is where it had a spun bearing, and it wasn't very bad. I've seen them ground down real bad, but this was the forged crankshaft out of that engine, and it had some, I think 1 or 2 spun bearings at least in it. And so just kind of looking over things, and this might be able to be turned and polished out and all that stuff, but sometimes I feel like in that case you might as well just get a new one. There's a cast crank I have over there too, so I wanted to use the cast crank in it. What I was kind of wanting to do here was just clean it up and then put that cast crank I have in it and some of the old pistons and rods out of a GT that I have lying around, just to kind of practice building it and doing some work on it. Not anything I would use in a final run assembly, but just kind of to play around with it, see if I could get it to rotate and stuff. And so I just went through and started disassembling everything and taking the hardware out and just going real slow with it, and everything was like finger tight because obviously the crank's out of it and a bunch of stuff's like missing. So I just wanted to go through and just kind of make a video of just playing around with this block and working on it and taking stuff out. And so I got to taking the main caps out, and I believe they're still in order. I'm not sure exactly if they were kept in order. It's just the way I got it. And so I just numbered them all and got them lined up. And something that I had learned about these main caps is that once you take all the hardware out, they're still in there kind of tight. And there are jack screws which are reverse thread, and they're in the side here. And so to get these out, totally you need to do these reverse threads and get them out. I've seen people beat them out with hammers, and that's not the way to do it. But anyway, just kind of getting these out. I just wanted to do that, pull this out and take it apart and put the crank in it and see how it spun and everything. But what I didn't notice was it didn't have main bearings in it, so um, it's hard to tell sometimes. You know, I looked in there and noticed that it didn't seem like they were in there, but the cylinder's cleaned up pretty good. And so at that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna like continue putting this together. And at that point, I told my friend he could probably just come get it, and he could have it for like, you know, really really low price, just, you know. And but I did wanted to see how the crank fit in it and everything, and so I very carefully put the crank in the engine and just for fun, really. You know, I put these videos on Instagram, and I was thinking about making a funny post that said, about to hurt some feelings, you know, building a Teksid block. You know, just so people would think that I'm building something up that's going to be like for a turbo project GT or something. But yeah, I was just teasing around and stuff, but just kind of showing the engine and just kind of playing with the stuff because I have it all lying around. I didn't really have any plan to do anything with it, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So just kind of cleaned it up here. So you can see all this extra stuff I have. I have so many extra timing chains and sprockets and stuff, and I love all this stuff. It's like so well built, so high quality. Old pistons. I hear you can't reuse them, I guess, yeah, if they're not in a set. Not sure if that's true, but all this stuff I have, I love to look at it and just think about what it took to make all this, you know, tool and die and all the hard work Ford does to make quality parts that last for hundreds of thousands of miles and stuff. And so I put the timing cover on, and here's where the issue is. It fits very nicely on this side. You can see there's no gap or anything, but on the side where the repair was done, you can see there's actually a little bit of a gap, like a light gap, like air gap. You know, you can see this repair. I don't think it went forward all the way. I don't know if they got the angle right or whatever, but you can see there's just a tiny bit of light showing through here. So if I shine the flashlight through, you can see that. And I believe this was off a running car, so I think they just filled that with RTV. Not sure if that's a problem or not. I guess you could bolt the heads to it and see how it all bolts up and stuff. But at that point, I was like, well, you know, told my friend if he wants to buy it, this is, you know, what it's like. I like to fully disclose things. So that's kind of the update. He might buy it. So thanks for watching. Just thought I'd make a little fun video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.